guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those who are new here, my name is Rebecca and I run a booktube, a book talk, a bookstagram and a Substack where I pretty much only talk about books because books are my greatest obsession, if you cannot tell from the bookshelf behind me. And for today's video, we're going to go back in time a little bit and we're going to go back to August, which was like 3 weeks ago, but feels like forever ago. And we're going to talk about the books that I read in August. Before I get into that though, I have to really quickly say that my lovely cat Jacob is currently having a bath on the other side of the room. He's given himself a good wash, so if there's any noises or any little bangs or anything, it's just him moving about, and I do apologise for the disturbance that he causes. Jacob's gonna do what Jacob's gonna do, and maybe if he's standing here at the end of the video, I'll let him come in and say hi. So with that being said, I'm gonna talk my rubbish about books, and Jacob's gonna continue having his bath, maybe go for a little nap, and we'll see what happens. Back in August, I read a total of 4 books, which was a little less than what I've normally been reading every month, but I feel like I've been in such a slump year, and I did go on a trip, like a very short trip in August, but I'm a very type A girly and I spend weeks like planning out outfits, planning what I'm going to pack. Like I make list upon list upon list, and that takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, so that's where my focus was. But yeah, in total I read 4 books, which consisted of 1,721 pages. I listened to just under 4 hours of an audiobook, which I'll get to in a minute, because I always say like I don't really enjoy audiobooks. This one was really short and I do kind of have some like thoughts and feelings about it. Big audiobook girly, so the fact that I've listened to just under 4 hours in August was pretty much an achievement for me. I'm trying to beat it. I really wanted to listen to an hour a day like all throughout the year, and I'm nowhere near it, but I'm trying to give them a chance because I know a lot of people love them and I know it's a good way to read books. I think it's quite convenient to listen to them on walks and stuff, and like while I'm doing other things, but I can never really get into them. But I'll talk about how I felt about the one audiobook I did listen to this month in a minute. First of all, I'm going to start with the first book that I read. At the end of July, I started Cross the Line by Simone Satani. I'm not the best at names. Half the time I'm surprised I can say my own name. But I really enjoyed this one. It did take me a while to get into, but like I said, I was planning my trip. I was trying to organise stuff. I was only away for 2 days, but I need a like hour by hour, minute by minute itinerary, and that takes so much dedication. So it took me a few days to actually properly get into this one because my mind was elsewhere, and then see when I did, I read like 200 pages in one day and finished it because I got so connected to Willow. Like Willow honestly is my kind of person. Like if she was like an actual real person, I would want to be best friends with her. She was just so bubbly and she was so smart, and she just like seemed like someone I really wanted to get along with, so I got really connected to her in particular. I really enjoyed the F1 part of the book because like I am an F1 girly. I love F1. I've loved F1 since I read Lauren Asher's series on F1, and ever since then I've been absolutely hooked and watched every single race. I also loved that this book had digital marketing in it because as a girl with 1,000,001 social media accounts, I do love myself a little bit of digital marketing, so it was all very interesting to me. And the fact that I took so long to get really into this book, like I'm disappointed in myself. There's nothing wrong with this book. There was nothing in this book that made me go, oh, I don't want to read this. I was just being a loser. Like I was being a loser and not wanting to get into it. So this was a 5-star. I loved it. I loved this little world, and I'm so glad that there was a second book that I could just quickly get into not long after this, because I did actually start reading Ride With Me right after I finished this one, but I didn't want to take Ride With Me away, so I didn't finish Ride With Me until I came back, and the whole time I was away all I could think about was Ride With Me. But I did read something else while I was away and I finished it within the 2 days of me being away. I don't have a physical copy of what I read because I didn't want to pay for the full price of this one, because this book has had so many controversies. It's got such a big debate around it that I was kind of like wanting to stay out of it, but also I'm too nosy, and the curiosity got the better of me. So I did read Elite Silver by Danny Francis, and man, have so many thoughts. Like, I think I could sit here for an hour and talk about it, but I'm going to try and keep this brief because obviously I don't want to disturb Jacob's nap, clearly, because the head is down and everything now. We're going for a proper snooze. But I really enjoyed this book, but there was so many moments where I was reading it and I was like, oh my god, that's so like this other book that I've read, or this is like so cliche. I feel like I've read this a million times. I feel like I can predict what's going to happen, and that threw me off. Like, I think I did rate this book 5 stars. I rated it 4 stars in total, which was me being quite generous, because I did, at the end of the day, I did really enjoy it. But there was just something off about it. There was just something that wasn't hitting right. I don't also like not knowing the author. It kind of just like I'm not saying that every author I read has to be like, they have to tell me every little bit about their like life and I need to know every little bit of background detail, but I think sometimes when you're aware of like who the author is, where they come from, you know, kind of what they do aside from reading and like kind of in general, or you know, just a little bit about them, it helps you know how to view the book, because you kind of have a bit of a glance at what their worldview is and how that's going to be reflected in what you're reading. Like, for example, Stephanie Meyer's Twilight is a really good example of this. Stephanie Meyer is Mormon, and you can see that she's Mormon through the books and how her values are reflected in this book, and that makes things make more sense. Whereas with Silver Elite, I pretty much knew nothing. I only knew what I'd heard from other people, and there is speculation that this book is AI, and I've watched many a video on it, and I don't know enough about AI to say for definite, because I do not like using AI. I have used it in the past, but I wouldn't actively use it now. I kind of try to avoid it as much as I can. I'm getting to the point where like you can opt out of it a lot of the time, like it's being used without your consent majority of the time. But if I can actively avoid using AI, I will. And so I'm not the most like knowledgeable about how it is. I'm just more like anti-AI because of the impacts it has on artists and authors, you know, and I have recently fallen down a very deep rabbit hole of how using AI can affect your like brain and how you process things, and I don't really like that, but I'm not going to get into it in this video. Maybe I'll get into it somewhere else. I think by the time this video's up, there might be an article on my Substack that kind of references this a little bit, but I'm gonna keep it out of this one. But yeah, I just felt like the Silver Elite pulled too much from other books. I know a lot of people were saying the Hunger Games, and I do kind of see it a wee bit, but the one that I see the most is a lot of Victoria Aveyard's writing. I just seen too many similarities, and that threw me. Like, a lot of the time I'd be reading and I'd just be like, I've read this before somewhere, like this is just... But don't get me wrong, the reason I rated it 4 stars was because the 2 days that I was reading it, because I did read it in the 2 days, I don't know if you can hear him, but he's got an itchy ear. He just huffed. In the 2 days that I was reading it, I was absolutely hooked, because I am a sucker for romance, especially kind of like will they, won't they, enemies to lovers, they really shouldn't but they're going to anyway. Like, I eat that up. Like, that is my kind of romance, and I really enjoyed that. Like, I was screaming at this book at points because I really enjoyed that. So I can't say I hated the book, because we're not 100% sure of where it's came from, how it's being created. I can't say I completely loved it either, because that was hanging over my head the whole time, and I honestly kind of felt guilty reading it. Like, if it was an actual person, like if it comes out in 6 months this was an actual person that wrote it, I will completely like go back and be like, yeah, I really loved it, I really enjoyed it. Was it the best thing I've ever read? No. Was it something that... He's got such an itchy ear today. You're gonna sneeze, aren't you? No, it's past. Okay. If it comes out in 6 months' time that this was actually written by a human, then I will completely say that it was a decent book. it was a great first book, but supposedly the rumours are that this author has written other things and has just changed genre. Who knows? There's too many theories that are going out about what it is and where it's came from though to make me go, yeah, this was like I fully support this. Like, I don't think I would, because there's talks about there being a second book coming out, and I don't think I'd read the second book until I knew who the author was, if they are a real person or if AI was involved or not. I really read it so that I could form my own opinion, really, and my opinion, like as I've said, my opinion is I think it was an okay book. It was very similar to every other book in the fantasy genre. I know a lot of people are saying it's very similar to things like Fourth Wing and things like that. I haven't read Fourth Wing yet. It is somewhere. But that's another book that's quite a controversial book that I'm not sure I really want to delve into. But I did see a lot of similarities between that, between Elite Silver or Silver Elite and other things that I've read. There is a lot of like, there's weird sentences in it that don't completely make sense. They're kind of just like, alright, and you really need to pay attention to catch them. So I'm very on the fence. But overall, I enjoyed the romance. That's really what kept me hooked. I think if the romance wasn't there, I probably would have DNF'd this book. What are you doing? Jacob probably would have DNF'd the book and all. But yeah, overall, I kind of enjoyed it. But if the second book comes out and there's no more clarification on where this book has come from, who the author is, and who exactly or what exactly has been involved in the writing process of it, I probably will not be getting it. The next book I finished was Getting Shit Done by Rudy. Now, this was the audiobook that I listened to. This audiobook was about 3 hours long, so I must have listened to something else as well, but I don't know what I've listened to because I've not finished anything else and I cannot remember what audiobook I would have been listening to. But I listened to Getting Shit Done by Rudy and I enjoyed it because I actually enjoy Ru's content. I've followed her kind of like on and off since pretty much she started her cleaning content. The lovely algorithm thing is that when I watch one of her videos, I get like 17 of her videos and then 17 of other people's cleaning videos, and that's just not what I'm on TikTok for. I don't want to be reminded of all the house chores that I'm not doing while I'm sitting trying to chill. So I'm not a dedicated fan of Ru's, but I am a fan of Ru's. What I liked about this book was it was very much like making cleaning work for you and not being like, you have to do X, Y, and Z, and if you don't do X, Y, and Z, you need to push harder to do X, Y, and Z. Like, Rue is very much about accommodating yourself and what your needs are and what your like energy levels and things are when you're trying to clean, which I really, really appreciated. But during this book, there was a lot of times where I went, I feel like I've watched you say this 10 times in a TikTok video. It was very much reiterating herself, and I just didn't feel like there was anything she had to say that she hadn't already said. That being said, I think if I had the physical book, that would be nice to be able to highlight the bits and use that as kind of like a handbook. Well, it really is a handbook. It's like, it is a handbook to like getting your stuff together and getting your house clean and things like that. But because I listen to it as an audiobook, I can't like get those little quotations. I can't see them physically. And I just don't think I enjoyed the audiobook enough now to want to get the physical book. That being said, overall I would rate it about 3 stars. It was very nicely written. It was quite nice like storytelling and getting to see a little glimpse into her life. But I'm not buying a cleaning handbook. I'm really sorry. It's not the kind of thing that I would normally pick up. I think I only picked this one up because I already like knew the author who wrote it. Do you know, I kind of just it was curiosity, just like with Silver Elite or Elite Silver or whatever it is. It was curiosity that got the better of me and I just needed to know, and I listened to it once and I'm quite happy and content with that. And I congratulate Rudy for publishing the book in the first place. Like, it's quite an achievement and she should be very proud of herself. Her and her little Bubba will be enjoying that one. Well, my little Bubba looks like he's about to come kill me. The side eye I'm getting right now, by the way, for talking while he's trying to sleep is ridiculous. So finally we got into the final book that I read, which I guess since I talked about it earlier you can kind of guess what one I'm going to bring up, but it was Ride With Me. Now I loved this. I read 260 pages of this in one day before I went away, and then I had to leave it behind for 2 days while I went on my little trip. and I finished it when I came back. I feel like Willow is who I am and Stella is who I want to be. Like, I want to be girl bossing. I want to have like a really successful company doing something that I love. And that is how I make my living, and being able to like travel and experience life and go where I want to go. Just like Stella, you're a queen for being able to do that, and the way she handled all these situations as well that she was put in without like spoiling things. If I went through half of what Stella went through, I would be in my bed like crying for like 7 years. Like, you would never see me again. Like, I would not just get up and move on. And here's this girl out in like the highest of high heels wearing gorgeous outfits by the sounds of it, and having men fall at her feet, like, and she's like, I don't care, I have a business, I have like stuff to do, like like that's the kind of vibes that I got. I very much got like that she was on her like grind, she was doing her thing, and she couldn't have cared less if like, well, to begin with, she couldn't have really cared less if Thomas was there. He was just kind of there. And she was like, oh, okay, I'll accept this, but like if you like decide to walk away, I'm fine, I'll handle it. And she would have been absolutely fine. Like, she did fall in love with the guy, but that was for choice. That wasn't for like needing someone, that wasn't for needing comfort. Like, she was very much handling her own stuff, and having Thomas was just an added bonus, and I loved that. Do I wish they'd communicated more and been more open and honest about their feelings? Yes. But I don't think they were like being dramatic and not wanting to talk to each other. Like, especially from Stella's point of view, like, she'd just been through some stuff, so of course she's not gonna like lay it all out in the line for a man. Like, she's gonna hold her cards to her chest, and I fully respect that. Now Thomas, what was he doing? I mean, that man was like yearning. Like, that man was desperate for her, but he just couldn't come out and say that. Like, I feel, well, maybe he did try a little, but he could have tried harder. It could have just tried a wee bit harder. However, I did find it fun, the little kind of push and pull they had, like very much like, are they going to get serious here? Like, is this going to be it? Is this them deciding their end game? Are they still going to do this whole like, we're fake married? I really enjoyed it. It was a 5-star. I think I got a wee bit obsessed with buying the books. So I of course had this one. I bought this months ago. I think I bought it months ago. I bought it ages ago. I got it with sprayed edges because I'm a sucker for sprayed edges. I just thought it was so cute, and it was an F1 romance, so I knew I was going to like it anyway because I love an F1 romance, which is why I bought this one. And it was very good, and I only bought one copy of this one. However, for the second one, I was not very good. So originally I got this one from, I think I got this one from Book Lovers, and it came with the little bookmark, so cute. And I was telling myself, yeah, this is the only copy I'll get. I lied, and I eventually picked up this one because it also had the sprayed edges, and I just thought it was so cute, and I couldn't help myself. And now I've got the two. Now I've got the two sprayed edges, and I'm like, I love them. They look so cute on my shelf, and I'm such a sucker for sprayed edges and special editions. Like, someone needs to take my bank card off me. Like, I actually can't stop. But now I'm like, well, I don't need all three. Like, I could realistically get rid of one, and it would mostly be this one, but I don't want to get rid of it because, like, I like it. I'm on the fence about what to do. Someone in the comments needs to tell me if I should just keep this or donate it or something. I feel really guilty when I have more than one copy of a book on my shelves. We're not going to talk about Twilight, okay? That doesn't count. Yeah, I'm a sucker for a sprayed edge or a special edition, even if I already have the book. And this is why I prefer to buy books on my Kindle, because if I really enjoy them and I do want a special edition or a sprayed edge, I feel less guilty about owning a physical copy, because let's be honest, any day now Amazon could decide that we're not allowed to keep our books anymore that are on our Kindles, and that is like a great fear of mine. Like, you know, at any point Amazon could decide, actually, we're just going to remove that from the platform, and they're not going to be available on your Kindles anymore, and we'd have no control. All our books would be gone. That would just be it. That is actually like something that that is actually thought that like keeps me up at night. Like, that that's gonna happen. I feel like in this video I've talked about some slightly more controversial topics, and if you enjoyed that you should definitely go check out my Substack, because that is where I talk a wee bit more about that. I'm like dipping my toe into it, you know, trying to expand my horizons. If you just like the bookish content, you should definitely stay here and go check out my other videos, and let me know in the comments what you read in August or what you are currently reading. I love to know. I love to see other people talking about books or talk to other people about books. I cannot get enough, so don't be afraid to even just comment the title of a book and I'll tell you what I thought about it. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I will be posting again next week. I think next week I am doing a haul because I have a lot of books that I've got over the summer. It's got really bad. If you've made it to this part in the video, I'm going to reward your dedication with a lovely little glimpse at the baby. I'm going to wake him up a bit because he has actually finally settled down. I will reward his appearance with some Joomies in a minute. Right, JJ, say hi. Everyone, this is Jacob. JJ, say thanks for watching. Yeah. Our little special guest of today's video. You do not want to be with me at all. Yeah, that is all I have to say today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys again next week. Bye! Rewarded for his good behaviour. Okay, bye Jay. I have to I don't know if you can hear him, but he's got an itchy ear. Half the time I'm surprised I can say my own name.